Everybody in your life will have a turn back moment. No matter who you are, you're going to have such a period in your life where it seems like it's not working. You're going to have doubts. You're going to have a lot of trials and tribulations and challenges. And everybody has what's called a turn back moment. You always have a moment in your life where the direction you're going, you will have to make a decision to keep going or you turn back. The sad thing is, the average person turns back. You gotta get downright funky if you wanna make it. For if you wanna be ordinary, you ain't even gotta listen to me. Just go on about your business. If you think ordinary's cool, ain't no problem. It's some really, really wonderful ordinary people. But if you are sitting in this room and you have extraordinary aspirations, then you're gonna have to do extra. It's no other way. I'm sorry.
Everybody can be the best you're capable of being. And I want to tell you, if you want to fail, you have the right to fail. That's what's great about this country. You do not have the right to cause other people to fail because you don't do everything best your ability. When you join a spouse, you bring a child in the world, you join a business, you join a team. You have obligations, responsibilities, and you owe it to other people to do the maximum you can at each and everything you do. It's not complicated.
When you become 18, nobody tells you that it's now going to be your job to parent yourself. And by parent yourself, I mean it's your job to make yourself do the crap you don't want to do so you can be everything that you're supposed to be. And you're so damn busy waiting to feel like it.
You got to get messed up sometime. You got to get dirty. You got to get your feelings hurt. You got to get disappointed. You got to get told no. You're going to ask somebody for some money. He going to tell you no. But at least then, when I see somebody trying and I tell them no, I try to at least give them something else. See, I'm not going to hand you a fish saying, I'll teach you how to fish.
The life's a matter of making choices, wherever you are, good or bad, because of choices you make. Don't blame anybody else, but if you get an education, you're willing to work and overcome problems and difficulties, in this great country, you can amount to something.
The average person blows all of their 20s. Then when you find out that life ain't waiting on you, now you're 30. Now guess what happens to mostly all of us, including myself? I spent all of my 30s trying to do the things that I should have been doing in my 20s. So now my life is behind. Now you look up and you're 40s. You're in your 40s. And now you're trying to do the things and have the things that you could have had in your 30s, man. And if I could tell anybody, man, if I could do it again, I would have changed the way I lived my 20s. And if I was in my 30s, you really in your 30s, it's time out for clubs and drinking and happy hours and parties. In your 30s, it should just be about the business of your life. I'm telling you, man, I did so many things wrong. I made so many mistakes. Homeless, living in a car. I made incredible mistakes. I could have avoided a lot of them. Now, it created who I am. Now, once you've made the mistakes, just get up, man. Don't wallow in them, because you can recover from all mistakes.
Things happen to you in life that you can never, ever anticipate. And many times when those things happen, you want to give up.
You have to decide if you are willing to do the things to put you in that category. Rich people don't sleep 8 hours a day. That's a third of your life. It ain't but 24 hours in a day. You cannot be sleep 8 hours a day. You can't live in LA and wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning. It's 11 o'clock on the East Coast. The stock market been open 2 hours. They already making decisions about your life and your ass was asleep. The Bible says, he who loves to sleep and the folding of hands, poverty will set upon you like a thief in the night.
Imagine you're on your deathbed, and standing around your deathbed are the ghosts representing your unfulfilled potential. The ghost of the ideas you never acted on. The ghost of the talents you didn't use. And they're standing around your bed, angry, disappointed, and upset. They say, we came to you because you could have brought us to life, they say. And now we have to go to the grave together. So I ask you today, how many ghosts are going to be around your bed when your time comes?
Think about that, really. Why are you where you are in your life? The choices that you have made have been because of what you believe to be true for yourself.
If you do what most do, which is put in the effort for a small amount of time and then quit as soon as things don't work in your favor, you'll never get the rewards. If you're only in it for you, if all you care about is what you get out of it, the results won't come. People buy from those who are genuinely adding value. Those who offer something that makes other people's lives easier. Those who offer something that makes other people's lives better. Be the person who adds that kind of value.
Don't choose anything that will jeopardize your soul. Prioritize who you are, who you want to be, and don't spend time with anything that antagonizes your character. All right, life is not a popularity contest. Be brave, take the hill, but first answer that question, what's my hill? Your successes and the reciprocity of gratitude. We so often focus on failure, don't we? When we study failure, we obsess with failure. We dissect failure and our failures. We dissect them so much we end up intoxicated with them to the point of disillusion. And when do we write in our diary? Usually when we're depressed. What do we gossip about? Other people's flaws and limitations. And we can dissect ourselves into self-loathing if we're not careful. I find that most of the times our obsession with what is wrong just ends up breeding more wrong, more failure.
You got to put more air in your bubble. You got to blow your bubble up. Expand yourself. Take yourself out your comfort zone. Do not live in your bubble. Put some more air in your bubble. You will fail in your comfort zone. Success is not a comfortable procedure. It is a very uncomfortable thing to attempt. So you got to get comfortable being uncomfortable if you ever want to be successful.
You got to get out there. You got to give it everything you got, whether it's your time, your talent, your prayers, or your treasures. What are you going to do with what you have? I'm not talking about how much you have. Some of you are business majors. Some of you are theologians, nurses, sociologists. Some of you have money. Some of you have patience. Some of you have kindness. Some of you have love. Some of you have the gift of long suffering. Whatever it is, whatever your gift is, what are you going to do with what you have? Times, it's the best way to figure out where you're going. Life will never be a straight path.
Just genuinely caring about people, because everybody you're going to meet the rest of your life needs a smile, needs a kind word, needs an encouragement. Because see, when you do the right thing, people are always going to be able to trust you. My wife and I have been married because we can trust each other. I never lose the trust. The only way people are ever going to trust you if you do the right thing. That's all God wants us to do. Do the right thing. Do everything best your ability, because then people will know you're committed to excellence. You want to be special. Not to say, hey, here I am, but help other people and caring about people.
The Bible says a man is as he thinketh. If you live your life in expectations, that's what happens to you. If you live your life in despair, that's what happens to you. If you say all men are dogs, you're going to meet every last one of them. I'll never be rich. You won't. You won't. The moment you change the frequency that your tower emits, the moment you change that frequency, different things come back to you. If you change your attitude, you change your altitude.
I think the biggest vulnerability you've got is you actually value somebody's opinion more than you value your own. Like, the reason I've been able to always do my thing is when I was 24 and people were like, oh, you work at your dad's liquor store? Like, I heard that as like a chip on my shoulder, you know? I loved it. I was like, cool, keep sleeping on me, you know? Like, I'm glad you're on Wall Street making $100,000 buying BMWs and dumb jewelry. I'll see you in 30 years. You understand? Like, to me, the way you win is you realize you can't hear nobody. Not your parents. I mean, listen, you gotta listen to coach and all that. I get it, but at the end of the day, my guy, yourself. You gotta get real quiet up here. I can't hear anything. You go look at my Instagram right now, my first post, I'll post something, first 100 replies in 1 second. You're Jesus, you walk on water, you're the best, you're the all-time. Can't hear him. The next 100, you're a piece of, you're full of, you're a snake oil salesman. Can't hear him. I'm in my own mind, doing my own thing. And that comes with self-esteem. Everybody's trying to keep up with the Joneses. I'm not worried about you being in the Hamptons on a blow-up Swan. I'm not worried about you renting out cash from the bank and putting it to your ear. I'm not worried you jumped a fence and took a photo in front of a private plane. What do you think these people are doing? They're posing. Patience, long game. You know what's amazing about being an entrepreneur? We get to play forever. Right? I'm gonna be working with them.
Like, what are women just drowning in? Like, what is crushing women other people's opinions?
I know.
They live their life terrified of failure, terrified to try, terrified that they're getting it wrong because their mother-in-law will disapprove, or the girls that they went to high school with, or, you know, they're gonna see me on Facebook and they're gonna watch me. It's crazy. It's crazy because those people that you're so terrified of their opinion of you, those people are not the ones who will live with the regret. Those people are not the ones who can't afford to take their kids on vacation. Those people are not the ones who are struggling for, like, all these things that you want for your life, but you're too afraid to reach for because of what other people will think. Those other people are not going to be there when it sucks and it's hard for you. That's all on you. So I get so fired up about this topic. And I also believe, like, so most little boys, I know not everybody, but most little boys are taught this idea of, like, you have potential. You're supposed to reach for that potential or try and be a better version of yourself. And frankly, most little girls are taught, you know, to reach for men. Like, hey, find yourself a husband and then you'll be doing well. And this, I believe in my heart. Like, have you ever seen those movies? Of course you have. Where, like, someone, like, gets bit by a spider, or they take a pill or whatever, and all of a sudden they have access to all of their mind instead of just a small percent. I feel like that's what's happening to women in the world. Like, if they just took, like, even if the smallest percentage of women, even if just the women who are listening to this, took one single step in the direction of who God calls them to be, I think that the results would be atomic.
My God. I appreciate every facet of life. Right, but I also believe life is the best classroom. And so I'm very cognizant the situations, circumstances, and I firmly believe, as Sean stated, the one thing we all have in common as people is we all will face some level of adversity. And so something pretty cool happened last week when I was in Seattle, and I'm going to get to that. But first I want to explain to you the card that I have in my hand. In my house, I have a bowl, right, and I call it a quote bowl, right, because I believe it's very important before you start your day to set the environment, to set the mood. Because you can get up and just start running, and then you run out of the door, life hits you in the face, and before you know it, You woke up, you were on top of the world, now the world is on top of you. And so every single morning, me and my kids and my wife, we go to this bowl and we grab a quote card and we read it, right? And we put it in whatever bag we have and we take it out of the door with us. And when I travel, I keep them with me as well. And today the quote says, do the best you can until you know better. Then when you know better, do better, by Maya Angelou. Right? That's my gift to you, Sean. Can't ever say I didn't give you nothing, man. Right? But I was in Seattle, and a guy came to pick me up last week, and, you know, when he picked me up, it was around midnight. And so we probably said maybe 3 or 4 words to each other. It was late. And when we got to the hotel, I thanked him, and he said to me, I'll be the guy that's coming back to pick you up in the morning to take you to your event. We talked about the time. I said, okay, cool, I'll see you in the morning. And so when I came down the next morning, guy stood outside his car, we spoke, we get in the car, and we're riding for 5 minutes. And I look in the mirror, and I can see the guy is crying. And so as I'm sitting in the back seat, I say to him, is everything okay? And he shakes his head kind of like, man, like you're not gonna believe it, right? And he said, my normal job, I don't drive, but my buddy owns the company. And he said, whenever he gets overwhelmed, he might call me and say, hey man, can you cover a shift for me? And he said, usually I'll tell him, no, I'm cool, right? Because you meet people and sometimes it's just not the situation. And he said, I hadn't drove for him in probably 11 months. And he said, for some reason, when he called me yesterday, I was like, cool, I'll take it. And he said, I looked you up after I dropped you off, and I saw this video about redirection, right, at 3 in the morning. And he said, it gave me purpose. He said, but the reason I'm crying is because I just lost my wife, right? And when he said it, I thought to myself, like, how do you smile after that? Right? Because I know every single day I look at my wife and what my wife means to me. And even when I lost my grandmother, I thought to myself, would I ever be able to smile and laugh again? And so I posed a question to him. How did you get up and simply put one foot in front of the other and walk out of the door and continue your routine? He said, well, I got 2 daughters. He said, before I get to that, I want to tell you something, because it wasn't like it was all good, the whole process, and my wife had been sick for over 30 years. Right? And he said, we got to a point in the sickness to where we hit a rough patch. And he said, she would scream at me, I would scream at her, and I felt as if I was trapped in a situation, and the Creator knew I couldn't leave the situation. And so I would say to the Creator, you know I can't leave, and my wife is sick. You know I can't go anywhere. You know I can't leave her because she's my wife, and I can't go anywhere, so I got to sit here, and I got to deal with it. And I resented the situation. I resented my wife. I resented the adversity, and we found ourselves in a point to where I ended up leaving. And he said, I went to stay with one of my buddies, and I'm in the mirror one morning, and I'm brushing my teeth, and he said, I'm saying to myself, right, for better or for worse, yeah, things have gotten pretty worse. For richer or for poor, yeah, we're pretty poor. And he said, through sickness and health. And he said, he stopped and said, man, I haven't finished. And he went, he packed his bags, walked out of the door, got back to his house. When he walked in the door, he said his wife said to him, what are you doing here, you prig? And he said to her, I'm going to be here. I'm not going anywhere. So either we can figure out how to make it work, how to deal with it, adjust, or we can sit here and we can just be miserable and mad because a situation has happened that's out of our control and we didn't expect it. Like, I believe in life, you got 2 separate people. You got champions, right? And they go through things in life that are self-inflicted. They bring it upon themselves, they get through it, they say, man, I got through it. And then you got warriors. Right? They walk outside, the wind hits them, knocks them down, they pick up their stuff, they adjust, and they get moving, and they deal with the adversity that they didn't expect. They set their perspective right, and they figure out a way to embrace it and add value to every environment that they go into and every person's life that they come in contact with.
If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you. If you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too. If you can wait and not be tired by waiting, or being lied about, don't deal in lies, or being hated, don't give way to hating, and yet don't look too good, nor talk too wise. If you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make thoughts you hate, if you can meet triumph and disaster and treat those two imposters just the same, if you can bear to hear the truth you've spoken twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the things you gave your life to broken and stoop and build them up with worn out tools, if you can make one heap of all your winnings and risk it on one turn of pitch and toss, and lose and start again at your beginnings and never breathe a word about your loss, if you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your turn long after they are gone, and so hold on when there is nothing in you except the will.
Humans don't want to die because deep in their hearts, they know that they have not finished what they were born to start. That's why they don't want to die. When a person have discovered their purpose and have fulfilled their destiny, they welcome death. Death never threatens a human who discovers their purpose. The Apostle Paul, for example, was not afraid to die. As a matter of fact, the Apostle Paul died willfully. He decided to die. Let me quote him. I quote, "I have finished my course. I have kept the faith. I have been poured out like a drink offering, and there's nothing left for me to do. I am now ready to be offered." Wow. He had this clear confidence about death. So please write these statements down, please. Very important. First, I want to talk to you about purpose and destiny. Write the two words down. And I want to focus on, in this first segment, the laws of personal success from a kingdom perspective. Let's talk about success for a minute. Proceed. Now, success is something that every human wants. Everybody wants to succeed.
There's all kinds of different ways to break. You can break physically, you can break mentally, you can break your heart, you can break your spirit, and none of those are fun, and all of those are gonna leave a mark. But the mark that they leave can be the mark of victory, or it can be the mark of defeat. Because every time you break, and in every way that you break, while it's a chance, it's definitely a chance for you to give up and for you to just to fall apart. But there's also opportunity. There's opportunity to get stronger and get smarter and get faster and get tougher and get more stable and get more resilient and get better. When you break, you have the opportunity to show the world, the whole world, what you are really made of. So if you break, if you break, the fight isn't over. In fact, if you break, the fight is just beginning. And as you crawl up and out of that dismal and wretched place, covered, and you're covered in blood and sweat and dirt and filth as you rise above what you were, and as you take the form of who you are supposed to be, you will see that in the very act of standing up, in the very act of fighting on, you will become and you will remain.
But for you to succeed in life, there are 5 questions you must answer. And every human being on earth is trying to answer these questions right now, including the person sitting in your chair right now. These 5 questions control the human race. These 5 questions motivate everything you do. These 5 questions are so powerful that they create everything in this planet that humans do. These 5 questions are the source of all of your problems. They are the source of all the crime in your city. They are the source of all of your broken homes and divorce They are the source of all corruption. These 5 questions are the source of every problem a human faces, is in these 5 questions. In other words, our attempt to find the answer to these 5 questions is the cause of all of our behavior. As a matter of fact, you came here tonight and you're watching this program live around the world because of these 5 questions. I have reduced all of human life to 5 questions. Write them down. Number 1, who am I? It's a tough question to answer. Most people have never asked nor answered that question because it's a frightening question. The average human never answers that question. Who am I? The second question that you must answer to become successful in life is, where am I from? Where am I from? Again, 99% of the world's population never answers that question. That question has nothing to do with your ethnicity. Where am I from? The third question every human must answer to become successful on this planet is, why am I here? Why was I conceived? Why was I born? And I am certain that most of you sitting here in this room still have not answered that question. Why am I here on this planet? The fourth question every human must answer to be successful is, what can I do? What can I do? That question has to do with, what am I capable of? Again, over 90% of the world's population haven't answered that question. And the last question every human is grappling with is the question, where am I going?
I need you to die on E. You heard what I said, die on E. E.T., what you talking about? Die on E. I ain't no car. Man, I remember when I was young, my first whip, I had a blue Escort. That's right, a blue Escort, right? And I'm gonna tell you something, man. My car broke down. I never forget the day it broke down. I had filled the car up, that's right, with gas. I had gotten an oil change. Listen to me, I had an oil change and the car was almost on full. And when that car died, I had about 40 bucks in that car. Are you hearing me? You heard what I said. Die on E. When you die, when life is over for you. Are you hearing me? I don't want you to have one idea left in you. I don't want one dream left in you. When you die, I want you to go for broke. Every CD that you were supposed to do, every book you were supposed to write, every degree you were supposed to get. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Everything you were supposed to accomplish. When you die, don't go to the grave with nothing. When you die, die on E. And what I mean is, I want you to give everything you got. I want you to, listen to me, full potential. I want you to get everything out your system. So that's number 1. You got, my boy Alex put it like this. The reason why you guys are going to separate yourself from everybody else if you die on E, because most people that are alive are living on neutral. They driving in neutral. They operating in neutral. So I want you to get out of neutral and put it in drive. I need you to transition from the I to the A. That's right, I said it. Transition from the I. And what's an I? The I is an idea. That's all it is. It's an idea. So I want us to do more A than I. That's right. I want us to live in the A and not the I. What do I mean by that? Some people, man, they got an idea and all you do is talk, talk, talk. Every time you get an idea, you pick up the phone, you call your homegirl, you three-way, you get on conference call, and you getting excited about your idea. All right? You telling your mama about it, your daddy about it, and there's more life in you when you talk about the idea than you put any action in it. Are you hearing me? So do me a huge favor. Write the idea down and then shut up. You heard what I said. Write the idea down and shut up. You ain't got to share your idea with 50 people. Write the idea down and boom, get to stepping, baby. Get to the action. Because listen to me very closely. Your success is not determined on just what you say. Now, I'm not disagreeing with you got to speak stuff into existence. I'm not disagreeing with that. But I'm telling you, you can't talk about it all the time. You got to be about it.
Hi, welcome back to Mind Control.
So I'm not here to tell you don't do this, do that, don't do that, do this. I'm here to change the way you think. And if I can change the way you think, I can't help but change what you do, can I? Let me introduce you to the concept of success. Ben Franklin was a pretty smart guy, and I want to start with a quote by him. If you do tomorrow what you did today, you will get tomorrow what you got today. You You want to know what that means? The average American makes between 3 and 5% more each year. That's the deal. And in today's economy, I'm not sure we're going to make the 3 to 4 to 5% next year as employees. So it takes you 20 years to double your income in America as an average person. That's the mediocrity that we're stuck in life. And then you meet people who have the uncanny ability to double their income in a year, to get promoted 5 times in a year. The ones that beat the system, the ones that conquer it. You've all seen them, haven't you? The difference between them and the ones that don't do that is that they wake up in the morning and they think differently. They understand that if I do tomorrow what I did today, I'm going to get tomorrow what I got today. You want a bigger car? How about a nice house in Tahiti? Sure, would you love a nice house in the hills? We all want better things, don't we? We all want more friends, more stuff, more money, more security, more travel, more enjoyment. If you do the same thing tomorrow that you did today, you're stuck. Stuck. And it doesn't change. And it grows a little at a time. And you get a taste of success. But it's never fast enough. It never excites you. And when it does, it's a good month, or a good 2 months, or a good 3 months. But it doesn't provide a trajectory that creates success. So the first thing I want you to think about today is I want you to wake up tomorrow and do something different. And understand if you do the same damn thing, you're stuck. Just because you did it a certain way yesterday, there's no reason to do it that way today. I want it to hit hard. That's not what drives success. You do.
There's no place for patience in business. You know, patience in life means things happen slower than they could. So if you're going to be on this planet for 70 years and things happen slower than they should, at the end of 70 years, you're going to have less, aren't you? Less experiences, less time, less money, less of everything. So let's all hurry up, man, and get more out of life.
If you think your life is complete, then I suggest that you're an ass. Because tomorrow always has a great opportunity in it. Your life is not complete until you close your eyes. So when you say somebody who's in a job they hate would love to be able to do this, my comment is, why the hell are you in a job you hate? Don't you have the courage to leave it? So you're in a job you hate, you're doing nothing to change it, but you'd like better.
Sometimes
you have to do
if
that.
They have mouths to feed. Sometimes I get it. But what were the things about you? Listen, we'd have to go over those specific cases, I think, and really get into each person to break them. But what do you think that were the things about you? One of it is you always had your eyes open to tomorrow and new opportunities. What were some of the other things as part of your personality? Because there aren't many people like you, but I've seen and I'm studying more and more people where amazing things are happening at 55 and 60 and putting them on life journeys that they never thought they were going to have. And I'm seeing that you guys have a lot of the similar attributes, but what do you think? What was it about you, John?
Courage. Courage. You know, the first time I went and shot a pilot for bar rescue was really hard. You think it's easy to scream at people on national television, to insult people on national television, to call you a jerk, challenge your marriage, challenge your integrity, challenge your professionalism? That's hard. That's not who I am. I don't wake up and embarrass people in front of their friends, right, in front of their family. Bar rescue is the hardest work I have ever done. The courage that it takes for me to go out there and do these things.
The only final advice I would give you is I've lived a very unconventional life. And it's because I live my dream every day. Dreams are inspiring. Work is not. Find a dream. Dreams make this world go on. It built our whole country. And when we get in a rut as human beings is when we lose touch with our dreams. We lose the ability to fight for those dreams. So don't be an employee of Google. Live your dreams at Google. Find a way to match your dreams with the goals of your company and your own work, because there's nothing worse than when you see somebody who lost touch with their dreams. You wake up in the morning, you're failing. So you blame the president, you blame Congress, you blame Greece, blame the euro. I mean, construction industry, it's the mayor, and you wake up in the morning and you look in the mirror and you're not failing because it's the other guy's fault. or it's the economy's fault. But if you looked in the mirror and said, I'm failing because of me, you wouldn't like it, and you change that. And I believe the common denominator of failure in any business is excuses. As long as you wake up and blame poor sales on the economy or an environment, then you have no motivation to make it better, because it's not your fault. But in the worst economic environment 4 or 5 years ago in this country that we've seen in our lifetimes, there were people making a lot of money, weren't there? In the height of that recession, there were people selling advertising, people opening restaurants, people building businesses. Somebody's making money, so the excuse is bull. It's bull. So wake up in the morning and own your failure. Look in the mirror and say, I'm failing because of me, and you won't like it. And then you'll change it. But as long as you don't put it on you, you have no motivation to change it. So in short, if you own your failure, you'll own your success. If you don't own your failure, you'll never dig out. And I find that in any business. Always the common denominator of failure, personally, is excuses. You don't want to be a failure, do you?
Not at all.
You don't want to look in the mirror and experience that. If you can't blame anybody but yourself, you're going to change. You're going to fight it out. That's the deal.
I have a dear friend who works for a large company, and he wants to open a franchise of sandwich stores. So he meets with me. He says, John, I need some advice. Do I leave my long-standing job and benefits and do this? Or do I... So why can't you have your cake and eat it too? Right? Why can't you bring in a partner? Why can't you bring in somebody to do it? There's ways to get there. It doesn't have to be absolute. So if somebody wants to create a second career, create new opportunities in their life, figure out a way to do it without risking what you have, right? And if you want it enough, you'll figure it out. I BS'd my way into jobs that I didn't have the experience to do and pulled it off. But I had to believe in myself to BS my way into it. And I knew I could figure it out too. Right. And that gave me the confidence to show up at the interview and convince that guy to hire me, because I was convinced myself that I could do it. And that comes across. You got to wake up in the morning and drive revenue, which means you got to have the promotions, the ideas, the energy to elevate a business. You got to be a rainmaker in business, or you're never going to get anyone wet. And when they don't get wet, they dry up and go away. And it's that wetness of a rainmaker that filters down and trickles to everybody's success. You have to drive the energy of revenue to be successful. And when you do, you'll have no expense problems. I drive quality as a leader. My systems maintain quality. Now, with regard to new projects, to me, every new project is a ball. And I have to move that ball every day. So I know, for example, that I have 4 balls on my desk. There might be 5 pads. Let's say 5 balls on my desk. There might be 5 different pads, 5 different books, 5 different projects. Every day, I'm going to move those 5 balls. That's the way I live my life. And I can't go to sleep at night if I don't move every one of those 5 balls every day. Sometimes I have 3 balls. Sometimes I have 7 balls. But the amount of balls that I accept and put on my desk, every one of them is going to move forward every day. And I become relentless. So I've learned to live my life based upon the progress I make on a daily basis. And I believe that business is defined by what we do every day, every single day. And business is defined by the days that we have. So if you move those 5 balls every day, you can't help but be successful. You will achieve it, but you'll achieve it on a daily basis.
Thank you so much for watching till the end. Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments section. Please also like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends and families. Please watch our other motivational videos. Thank you again.
We are built for uncertainty. We are built for tough times. We are made for adversity.
When you make a decision to be better, when you make a decision to do more and to be more.
We must put on that suit of armor. We must disconnect ourselves and stop being prisoners to the sadness, to the fear. And these battles that we must face has different stories connected to it. These battles that we face each and every day of our lives has many things that sometimes we just don't feel that we're prepared for. We must find a way in an understanding that this thing that we are dealing with right now in our lives is only temporary. It's temporary and it will not last forever. You must realize that you must grow enough tenacity within yourself to press on. We are all going to face many battles in our lives, and some of these battles we will not always win these days.
And we are more powerful together than any enemy we will ever face. We are bigger than this. We will get through this. We are stronger than this. As long as we play our part. You can either be a part of the problem or a part of the solution. You will either help the situation, not only your situation, but the situation of the people in your life and the people on this planet, or you won't. So quiet the fear, quiet the worry, quiet the anxiety, quiet the stress, quiet the frustration, quiet that voice in your mind that tells you that you can't get through this, that things will get worse, that maybe you're just not strong enough. Quiet that voice, quiet the doubt. Don't let the thoughts that you can't handle this take up any access space in your mind.
What did you want your life to be like? She goes, well, it sounds stupid. I said, it's not gonna sound stupid to me. She said, well, I don't know. I just always, since I was a little girl, dreamed that I would be married and I would have 3 basically perfect children and they would love me totally, and I loved my husband, he loved me. And I said, okay, so how's that working for you so far? And she said, well, I think you know, she's a pretty famous person. She said, I'm divorced twice, I have no children, and I'm now X age. And to give you a clue, that age would be an age where having a child, your own natural child at least, barring a medical miracle, is not going to happen. So I said to her, well, why don't you just adopt? She goes, no, that's not it. And so what I had to dig under is, remember we talked in one of the earlier sessions about there's the surface problem and then there's the deeper desire or need. So I said to her, I said, well,
hello and welcome to your day. A day of fulfillment, a day of opportunity. A day of opportunities or challenges that may come your way. What are your expectations? What is it that you ultimately want? Where are you looking to do? It is time for you to stop wandering in the wilderness and start focusing on the journey ahead, and pushing yourself forward and working as hard as you can. It's only a fraction of what this journey is going to be all about. Will you be prepared? Are you prepared? Will you accept the fact that your birth was no accident?
Quiet those voices and raise the volume on hope. Raise the volume on courage. Raise the volume on progress. That is what we are made for. We are built for progress. We are made to move forward. No matter what happens to us, we are designed and will always find a way to move forward. We always find a way to define the odds, as daunting as they may seem. We are built to weather the storms that life throws at us. That is what we are made for, and we can get through this. We will get through this. We can win, and we will win together.
You filed bankruptcy and you stopped moving? You got fired and you stopped? Did you get divorced and you just stopped moving? You got cut and you just stopped? When my basketball career was over, I didn't stop moving. Why? Because I'm a shark. What if you couldn't have the husband, but you could have the kids? And she smiled and she said, I'd take that. I said, well, why not adopt a kid? She goes, no, it has to be my own blood children. So I kept digging to find out what was behind her blueprint. Because your blueprint is just a projection of what you think you need to be happy. But as human beings, we're notoriously ineffective at knowing it's going to make us happy. So much that we think we're going to make us happy, we get there and we go, is this all there is? So many things that we think are going to make us miserable and we can never deal with, we go through it and we can handle it. We're not good at projecting these things. All kinds of studies will show this. So I said to her, well, what are you hoping to get from these 3 children? Why do they have to be your blood children? And she finally said, well, if they're my blood children, I know they'll always love me. They'll never leave me. What was she looking for? Unconditional love. She had this big blueprint that said, White House, picket fence, 3 children, perfect husband, all these different things. But what was behind that was a need to feel like she could have love that would be certain and wouldn't go away.
What makes life so unique and so beautiful? It is beautiful because whatever you have that you may be facing, what you may be dealing with, life is still good. Life has so many moving parts, but life is always good. Every day is a new day and another opportunity that others may not have. This life that you have been given, this life that you are temporarily holding on to, this life that has been just given to you for only temporary reasons, has more meaning than you can ever imagine. So many people in the world take life for granted instead of realizing that you have to take the opportunity to live it.
Because it's going to be a forever company. It's not something we're looking to just build up and sell. And so if it's going to be a forever company, what are the things it would have to accommodate? And for me, there are two pandemics that I believe is my calling to address. Pandemic one is the pandemic of the body. You got people 200-300 pounds overweight and they're dying of malnutrition. Really impacted my family. I've already lost people that I love to food, essentially. Didn't want to lose more. But the other is the pandemic of the mind. And you've got people who, on the sort of bright and cheery side of the spectrum, just feel lost, feel that the system is corrupt and broken. And having gone from scrounging in my couch cushions to find enough change to put gas in my car to, fantastic wealth, all through hard work, discipline, learning to get the timing right, all that stuff, I realized that it is the mindset that's holding them back. And I want to know what happens to the world if we find the next 1,000 Elon Musks.
Self-discipline comes when you decide that you're going to make a mark on the world. And if you think that you're not disciplined or you can't be disciplined, it's because you haven't yet decided to be disciplined. It's because you haven't created that discipline yet. So make the decision, make the commitment. Discipline, the root quality that will improve every aspect of your life. And it'll make you better and stronger and smarter and faster and healthier. And most important,
like what happens, I've worked a lot in the inner cities from, I big brothered for 8 years when I was younger and saw what it really, really means to grow up hard. And I big brothered for this kid who was adopted and being abused. And I was the ward of the court when they took him away from his family and saw him through that. So I've seen like the real impacts of generational poverty. And then when we were doing manufacturing in the inner cities, again, working with people that just really, really have suffered at the hands of what I call generational poverty, which is a mindset. It has nothing to do with money. I mean, it echoes in money because they don't understand it and they don't know how to escape that sort of vicious cycle of keep your head down, do as little work as possible and avoid punishment. But so that I wanted to be able to do that. And I feared that I wasn't going to be able to make the two gel and that it would be bolting something on to this thriving, beautiful, amazing business. I didn't want to confuse it. But for me, like that's a must in my life.
It'll make you free.
There are no shortcuts. There are no hacks. If you want to take the easy road, I promise you it's longer and more painful than the hard road. I know. I've lived it. I've ventured down the easy road at times in my life, and it never led to anywhere good. The positive things in my life always came when I faced the biggest challenges. I joined the Navy. I took the hard road in the Navy and made it into the SEAL teams. There, I had the honor of leading men in combat. I learned some lessons along the way, lessons that have been tested on the battlefield and when implemented lead to success in any arena. One of the best things I've learned is that anyone has what it takes to travel the hard road.
There are many different animals, creatures that roam throughout this desert, and things out here get eaten or they eat. And you have to ask yourself which one are you, because no matter what's going on out here, the art of survival is to survive, to live, and that's what these animals do. So what kind of animal are you? Are you really hungry? Are you driven? Are you determined? Do you want it? Are you going to do everything that is necessary to get it? Because there's no pity out here in this desert if you don't go after what it is that you are seeking to satisfy your hunger.